Greetings, and welcome back to JT on the Go. Today we are going to visit St. Peter's, located in the Vatican City. The last time we were here, we visited the Vatican museums. Now we're visiting St. Peter's, the largest cathedral in Europe and home of the Roman Catholic Church. First, we're going to climb the top of the cathedral to see the views of the Vatican City and the city of Rome. Then, we will tour the church from the ground level. See that guy down there? He's a member of the Swiss Guard, the Vatican military force that protects the Pope. When visiting St. Peter's, there is no cost in visiting the cathedral, but if you want to climb to the top, you have to pay €8 to get up there and €10 if you choose to take the elevator to the halfway point. Here's our ticket for the elevator. When taking the elevator for the first leg, you'll need to go to the left side of the sign that splits up people using the elevator and people using the stairs. Man, the interiors of the Vatican are huge. The best times to visit are before 9 a.m. before the crowds roll in. To get here, take Metro Line A to Ottaviano and walk south from the station. The Piazza del Risorgimento bus stop sits right outside the entrance. Even though the elevator took us to a certain point, we still have to navigate stairs to reach the top. The dome we are climbing was created by Michelangelo. From here, the climb won't take long, and it looks like it won't be that bad. You can find the statue of Michelangelo on the stairs you take to enter his dome, just like the one in the Accademia Gallery in his hometown of Florence. Like the Duomo in Florence, you can see the interiors from below the dome here. But here in St. Peter's, there is a message carved below the railings. The message says, Tu es Petrus, which is Latin for, You are Peter, and upon this rock I will build my church. By representing Jesus Christ, St. Peter's is the headquarters of the Roman Catholic Church. The walking corridor looks much wider than the one in the Duomo. I wasn't afraid of heights when walking through here. Warning. It's not recommended for individuals with serious heart or circulatory conditions or those with major physical disabilities to climb the next 551 steps to the cupola. The strain can be very dangerous to your health. We still have ways to go to reach the cupola at the very top. The path to climb up and down is one way, so you will not be able to turn around to get back down until you reach the top. It's best to determine if you are in good shape before beginning the climb. Oh, here's another thing. When climbing through the dome, the design can cause you to tilt when climbing. There are some points where you can stop and take in the view before heading to the very top. For me, there were certain points where I had to stop and take a breather before continuing. The reason you saw that guy with the broom in front of us is because someone further up threw up, and it backed up the traffic heading to the top. They had to clean up the mess. We made it to the top. This gives you a bird's eye view of Rome. The height of St. Peter's is 136.6 meters or 448 feet tall, with its dome reaching a height of 136.57 meters or 448.06 feet from the floor. What we see in front of St. Peter's is the Piazza San Pietro. There used to be chariot races held there, as well as executions of Christians. The man that this cathedral was named after, St. Peter, was also crucified down there. St. Peter's also gives us a view of some Vatican territory that is not open to the public. What we see here is the outside view of the Vatican museums. They are huge, and a visit there is essentially a visit to the Sistine Chapel because it's connected to the Vatican museums. The country has its own radio station, post office, and even a train station. From this angle, we can see the train station, which is on the right. The station is still operational and used for a weekly special passenger train service to the Pontifical Villas in Castel Gandolfo. This service is organized by the Vatican Museums. Vatican City is less than a square mile. It is very quiet out here. It's time to head back down. The exit is hidden, but we found it. The Vatican City has a total of 1,000 inhabitants. These days, it's ruled both religiously and politically by the Pope. Yes, the Vatican City is where the Pope lives. Even though we're traveling downhill now, we're still going to take the elevator the rest of the way down. Keep in mind, while we were here, some parts were under refurbishment. In total, 91 popes are buried here at St. Peter's. St. Peter himself was the very first pope. He was one of the 12 apostles of Jesus and one of the first leaders of the early Christian church. There is also a service happening here. St. Peter's Basilica is 600 feet long and is bathed in sunbeams. Some of the art here isn't made with real paintings. Instead, they use different colored chips put together to resemble a picture. This is another form of art. The Basilica favored this method because if they were made with paintings, the oil would be covered by the soot from candles. Every place of worship has tons of candles. There are enough spots for thousands of worshippers here. After Peter was crucified, his friends buried him in a nearby cemetery. It was called Vatican Hill by pagan Romans. Christians quietly worshipped at his grave for 250 years. By 313 AD, Emperor Constantine legalized Christianity. What we see here is some of the priests being escorted in for the service. After Emperor Constantine legalized Christianity, this basilica was built, and it became the headquarters of the Roman Catholic Church. This is not the original St. Peter's. This is a replacement for the original, which was in despair. Pope Julius II wanted to build a grander, more impressive church to symbolize Rome's greatness and house his own tomb. The tomb of St. Peter himself was blocked off because of the service, but his tomb takes center stage in St. Peter's. That concludes our trip to St. Peter's. We were lucky to see a women's marathon outside St. Peter's in preparation for the 2024 Summer Olympics in Paris. This video was filmed before that. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, subscribe, and follow my Instagram account for more. St. Peter's is a must-do when visiting Rome. See you next time.